As a data quality management measure, we are going to compare two datasets. One, text format dataset, the other, SQL format dataset. We want to make sure that the information in the two different datasets are the same, which would be an indication of data quality. We are going to prepare the environment for our operation, because in part 2, we are going to insert a large data set, which is very interesting. You will gain hands-on experience with a practical data set. After that will be the data quality management part. We're going to check the sales data from MySQL database, and then we're going to answer the same question using the sales dataset in text format inside the sales data directory. And finally, we're going to create a backup of the database that we inserted in question 2. We got a lot to do, so let's begin. I'm on VM50, so let's get into the class directory, and in charge 56 exclamation. Now we have a05.tar.gz. The usual. Get into a05 Q01. So in Q01, we are going to prepare an environment. It has several steps. I encourage you to tile your instruction and your terminal on the same screen so that you can follow the steps easily. In part 1, we're going to create a file called env_MySQL, meaning the environment file for MySQL operations. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use nano env MySQL, and I'm going to copy the contents from step 1.2 here to the environment file. Of course, there are some command lines that we don't want in this file, including this part. So now we are looking at line number 1, 3, 5, and 6. We have 3 export lines to create environment variables. And line number 6 is an output line to make sure that we have those MySQL underscore variables created. Of course, here we want to change the password for our sales admin. This will be different for you, of course. I've set up mine to be like this. And notice that these environment variables are named using uppercase MySQL underscore data, uppercase MySQL pass for password, uppercase MySQL underscore user for username, and save it. Now we have our env underscore MySQL file. Because this is a definition file, not a script, so we do not need to do chmod or place the span line at the beginning of the file. As we did before, we can just source to run the file, and by using source, we can execute the file and keep the variables in this shell, in this environment for us to use. Of course, we have an output line to print out to make sure that these environment variables are available for us. In step 3 of part 1, we are going to run some SQL statements, and the script is prepared for us already. So let's run it. In your sales.pl, when run, you expect to enter the year. So we'll do the year 2010, enter. Then you see there's a new directory as 2010. Now let's run it again. 2011, bunch of files or data are being extracted. 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. Oops, cannot do it like this. 2015 must be run, then using the read, so you can see here for user input. So after running the annual sales.pl script, we now have 6 new directories, S2010 through S2015. In case you are curious about what the env underscore MySQL file does for us, let's take a look. I'm going to nano the annual sales.pl with line numbers, and let's take a look at line 21 through line 23. We are actually using the variables. Now let's get back to the command line and run the check script. Everything checks out. So this is what we do in part 1 of Lab05. We first create an environment variables for our MySQL operations, and then we run the script annual sales.pl, which will take the environment variables we provide in env underscore MySQL. So if you did not source env MySQL, you will not be able to run annual underscore sales.pl successfully. So if you take care of env MySQL, source it, and run annual sales.pl one by one from 2010 through 2015, then your check script should not complain.